What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about, is life better in Canada or the United States? And the way we are going to answer this question is by listening to the perspective of this man right here. This is Igor, and he moved to North America, and basically he had to decide if he was going to immigrate and live in the United States or in Canada, and what his decision-making process looked like, and the things he examined to decide a really, really big, important question that would determine the course of his entire life. Basically, what country are you going to live in? And spoiler alert, he chose Canada. So I know that he chose Canada. He is living in Calgary, I believe. And this is basically his thoughts and his decision-making process of, okay, life in the United States compared to life in Canada, and a couple of different topics about really important things about where you're going to live, like your healthcare, your work life, the climate, prices of stuff, education, basically the most important aspects of happiness and life, and how those compare in Canada and the US. So this seems very, very, very interesting to me, and I'm really excited to hear his perspective, and honestly, why he ultimately chose to live in Canada. So with that being said, let's take a look.
Today we are going to talk about United States and Canada. Life in United States versus life in Canada.
Okay.
We just jump right into it. How about legalizing slavery? Now that in Canada, government forces employers to give you a vacation.
Oh my gosh, okay. Oh my gosh. I didn't know where he was going with the legalizing slavery. I didn't know we were gonna go there. I didn't know what we were talking about. We're talking about work. Okay, so he's basically comparing work life in the United States to slavery? I'd like to hear more of his thoughts on this. Maybe compared to Canada? Is that what, maybe that's his point? Work in the US compared to Canada?
In Canada, government forces employers to give you a vacation. Depending on the province where you are at, they give you anywhere from 2, in some provinces, some cases it's 3 weeks of vacation.
Wow. 3 weeks vacation in Canada. I'm convinced. Sign me up. End the video. That's all I needed to hear. But seriously, that is so nice. It's mandated by the government that your employer has to give you 2 to 3 weeks of vacation. Man, depending on where you work in the United States, it can be pulling teeth to get vacation. Very limited number of vacation. It's basically completely up to the employer to decide how much mercy they're going to bestow upon you in terms of vacation. I don't know, it's a bit strange. I guess it just seems like the work home life balance and relationship is just a bit worse in the United States. Like, people in the United States definitely work or live to work or work to live. They work so that they can go home and live their life. Like, people don't have a great relationship with their employers for the most part in the United States. And I feel like this is part of it. Not prioritizing workers' right to at least have some vacation, some amount of living life, So this is a big bonus to living in Canada for sure.
Paid vacation a year. Now, whereas in the United States, it's not mandatory and employers can choose to give you your vacation or not.
Yeah.
So lots of immigrants, especially from Eastern Europe, who are putting their videos on YouTube, they're saying that in United States the slavery is legal because literally employers have so much more rights over their employees that it's even not a joke.
Okay, I mean, I get his point. I don't know, bringing up the whole slavery is legal, describing it as that is a little, I don't know, probably not very respectful to actual slaves back in the day, because obviously American workers are being paid, and slavery is when you are forced to work while not being paid. So I guess I understand his point there.
Healthcare, guys.
Oh, and what is this? Healthcare. Okay.
My cat agrees, Kali. She agrees. Healthcare in United States sucks because it's not free. In Canada,
Yeah, it's as simple as that, isn't it?
in Canada, you can actually get sick and you can go to see a doctor and get yourself, you can get treated. I know my friends.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on about this. It's one of the biggest travesties and disappointments of the United States, for sure. Maybe the number one travesty of United States social programs, I guess you could say. The healthcare in the United States, the fact that there are people in the United States who actually have to, they get injured, they get sick, they need healthcare. And healthcare is something, it's not like buying a sack of potatoes. It's not like buying a box of cereal. You need healthcare to survive, honestly. So the fact that there's Americans at home who choose not to go to the doctor, they choose not to go to the emergency room out of fear of the financial repercussions is sad. And I don't know, the United States should feel bad about this. And I think most United States citizens do have a super negative opinion on this. But the fact of the matter is, this problem really affects poorer people much more. People with financial difficulties are affected by this much more. They're the ones in trouble who don't have the right health insurance. So I guess as long as the majority of Americans are okay and like can survive on the current healthcare system, nothing seems to change, unfortunately.
In the United States who are working there, living there, they're saying that there is an insurance, there is something that you can get, but the deductibles are so high that it's not worth going to a doctor because you're going to spend hundreds of dollars for that. They were saying literally.
Right, so he's saying the deductibles where you go into the doctor or to get a surgery or treatment, and you have to pay a certain amount of money first, and then once you have paid that amount, which is decided by your health insurance provider, then they start helping you pay. So you're always, for many, many things, you're always having to pay upfront something, which can that can be enough of a barrier for a lot of people to not be able to afford it. The deductible.
You have to get hit by a car to use that insurance, and plus, it's crazy. In short, if you are living in US, you have to stay healthy because it's too expensive to get sick. And in Canada, it's free, depending on which province you're at. And by the way, guys...
Yeah, I can see this also really disproportionately affecting immigrants to the United States as well, depending on what kind of jobs they can get or what kind of financial situation. They're changing countries. And, you might not land in the most solid financial situation off the bat, but you still need healthcare. So yeah, this is a huge, maybe number one reason why people, especially people who are immigrating to North America, would probably be better off choosing Canada, honestly.
Whenever you see behind me all of these boxes, this kind of good stuff, I'm doing some unboxing right now. I'm sending some shoes to my parents in Ukraine because you have to help your parents who are now on their retirement, and I want to do something good, so I'm just getting some clothes for my father, for my brother, and for my mom. I'm going to send it all, guys. And
it's very nice. And you see, he can feel okay putting his shoe boxes right in front of his door. Doesn't matter if someone comes in and trips on them and breaks their leg. Canadian health insurance. They can okay. They don't gotta worry. Americans would never leave our boxes out like this. If we trip on them and we hurt ourselves, we're out of luck.
Father, maternity leave. Now in Canada, you can get 1.5 years of time off with your child, up to 1.5.
What? What did he just say? Did he just say what I think he said?
Canada, you can get 1.5 years of time off with your child, up to 1.5 years. In US, you're allowed
1.5 years? Is that correct? That's not an exaggeration? 1.5 years of maternity leave? That is... See, I almost don't even believe it because it's so far off from what Americans get for maternity leave.
lucky if you get 5 weeks off. I don't think that's
Yeah, okay. So he says 5 weeks. Um, Sometimes if it's maternity leave, if you are the mother who's just given birth and having to take care of a newborn baby, I think pretty regularly at a lot of jobs they will give you 3 months off, 3 months of maternity leave, which is honestly quite silly, right? Because a 3-month-old, like, there's not too much a difference between taking how much care a 1-month-old and a 3-month-old needs. Like, they both need constant 24-hour care. So it's again, this is probably, again, one of the most wild, crazy things about America. And I guess this just, again, speaks to the bad relationship between Americans and our jobs, the businesses that employ us. And they don't really care so much about vacation time, sick time, maternity leave, and all that. Whereas Canada seems to, even if it does seem like the government of Canada steps in and tells the businesses, hey, you have to respect these certain rights, which is really, really nice, I have to say.
Canada, you can get 1.5 year of time off with
Can you really get 1.5 years off? That's like too good to be true. Is that true?
your child up to 1.5 year. In US, you're lucky if you get 5 weeks off. I don't think that's even enough time to recover your lady's body after
No.
giving birth to a child, to a
No.
human.
No. This makes me so upset. His cat is kind of making me feel a little better, but it's totally spot on. This is like totally ridiculous.
I don't think it's enough. But here in Canada, it's up to 1.5 year, and even husband can, like a guy, can split with his wife this period and get some time off with the child as well. So it's
You see, yeah, like don't even forget it with the husband or the father. They're not getting any special time off. Like in 90% of cases, the father is not getting special leave to spend time at home. Like the father would probably have to take sick days or use their vacation time to get off to be at home with their newborn child. Isn't it? Is it? Yeah, it's extremely sad, but I feel like Americans have gotten used to it, I guess. Like, we don't really talk about this stuff so much in America. Like, we're not really griping and complaining and advocating for change in terms of, like, maternity leave and vacation time, because Americans really definitely have just gotten used to it. It's just a fact of life. It's just how things are, unfortunately.
really awesome to have it here. And of course, it's really cruel for US not to have it. Okay, guys,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about climate.
Climate. As we bring our Christmas tree outside.
So, as you may know, this is my plant in Canada because that's the thing that grows in the winter and evergreen, guys.
Okay.
Climate in Canada is very harsh. It's I don't. Today morning there was smoke coming out from my mouth. It's
Is this okay? So far for all of these topics, he's basically been like, okay, here's a set of subjects like healthcare and work life and maternity leave, where Canada clearly, it's not even close. It's better. Is climate finally gonna be like the thing where he's like, okay, the climate is a little rougher in Canada?
close to 0 degrees right now, and the weather changed literally in few days. It's like summer, right straight into winter. It was
Wow.
already snowing several times.
Oh my gosh.
Just September, not even October yet. Guys,
Wow.
climate in Canada is harsh, and
So it starts turning cold in September. Man, I mean, right now it's August, so that would be like if it turned cold and you could see your breath next month. Wow. Yeah, that is way early. Wow, does it actually get that cold in Canada that early in the year? My goodness. My condolences. Okay. At least least I got something going for me out here in America. All right. At least we're out here. At least we're out here sweating in the heat as we can't get into the hospital or can't get off work. At least, we're nice and hot. Very good.
To be honest, most of the time it sucks. So Canada versus US, climate-wise, I say US wins.
Aha!
Alright, guys, you do make more money in United States.
Okay.
So that's why many Canadians go to US because they simply make more money there, and that's a fact. And majority of
Okay, so we're on a completely different topic. That was the climate talk. It is colder in Canada. Breaking news. Little colder in Canada. Okay. And now we're talking about money. So, man, I'd want to see some stats on this, I guess. But he's saying in general, like just some higher paying positions in America, I guess. And yeah, I know the American dollar. I feel like the Canadian dollar is like 70 cents, 75 cents for every one American dollar. So the exchange rate is a little better for Americans too. That talks a little bit about the financial side of this.
friends that I know in Canada and the United States, those guys who are in US, are not only making in US dollars, which is higher than Canadian dollar as of now. Sorry about that. They also make
He's getting so worked up, he's burping. I tell you.
more money, and that's a fact, unfortunately, because I'm jealous.
Huh, interesting. Very interesting. So, in Canada, well, I guess to this I would think there's got to be very, very good jobs in Canada. Like, it really depends on what kind of job you get, huh? Like, I'd like to see how much does a construction worker get paid in Canada versus America? How much does a doctor get paid? How much does a teacher get paid in Canada versus America? There's so many different, like, kinds of areas of work, so many categories that, I don't know, he's being a little general here. I'd like to learn more about this.
In US, not only you make more money, you also spend less. Real estate is cheap.
Okay, so now we're getting into the prices of stuff. This video is actually pretty long, or at least I'm having such an interesting, fun time learning about all the horrors of the United States that we're only halfway done with this video right now. I'm enjoying this very much. This is such a fun opportunity to listen to someone's perspective, like honestly comparing life in the United States versus Canada, that I don't want to rush this or anything, so I think I'm just going to stop here for now and continue the rest of this video in part 2. So if you've enjoyed this video so far, as I have, please give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in part 2, where I'll finish the rest of this video on life in Canada compared to life in the United States, feel free to subscribe, or subscribe just for more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and learning about Canada and Canadian culture. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.